Some people are asking you to talk about Seth Rich. Tell us the truth.
Yeah, I would like to do that. Here's the issue, and people need to understand why I need to be very careful about this. I have a large legal team, both in New Zealand and the United States. I have lawyers in Hong Kong and elsewhere. What is important here is that I do secure an understanding with the US government that I cannot be charged with anything that has to do with the leaking of emails from the DNC and campaign people within the DNC to WikiLeaks. I need to secure, based on my legal advice, I need to secure an agreement that gives me immunity in exchange for the evidence that I can provide. Everything that I've said is true. The statement that I've made on my website about Seth Rich is true. And I just have to go through the legal process because I'm already in enough trouble and I don't want to give them another opportunity, another way to attack me. And that's why, I have to rely on my legal advice when it comes to information about Seth Rich and his involvement in the leaking of DNC emails.
I'm just going to add a little bit to that, Blake. Internet Party put out a solidarity statement with Kim a few months ago about exactly this. And the reason that we put that out, well, there's several reasons, but primarily it is because Kim, as you know, and as you've heard on this very stream, is a massive supporter of WikiLeaks and of Julian Assange. There is no way in hell that Kim would make up or invent or lie about a story in relation to WikiLeaks, especially in these conditions. He would just never, ever, ever do it. So it was abundantly clear to us from the outset that what he was saying about this was true, or he wouldn't be making the statement. There's absolutely no way that he would put WikiLeaks in a situation of being jeopardized or anyone else. And I think that's why he's been quite conservative, rightly so, about what he will or won't reveal or when. Also, the family, as he said, did contact him and ask him not to release the information. So it's ironic that his respecting of the family's decision is then held against him. And the other thing I would say about this is that I recently wrote an article called "Someone is Lying to Seth Rich's Family About Kim Dotcom." If you go and read through that article, amazingly about 30,000 people actually read it. It completely debunks all of the allegations made against Kim by the public statement of the Seth Rich family. So somebody had taken, well, it was very interesting actually, because smears were given to Seth Rich's family about Kim that related to events that happened in the last political election in 2014. But I was at those events. And I saw and covered and have footage of and wrote articles about and took photos of what really did happen. And what really did happen is not what Seth Rich's family are being told happened. So my article is meticulously sourced. So if you go through and read for yourself, you will discover that in fact, someone has been lying to Seth Rich's family about Kim Dotcom. And you might want to ask yourself some questions about why they're doing that. What is their agenda? What do they stand to gain? Especially if you realize that those people are very much in the pro-Hillary, anti-WikiLeaks crowd. And you soon discover that this issue is much bigger than just Kim. And it actually goes right to the top. So just don't take things at face value just because you're told, oh, Kim had info and didn't give it, so therefore he didn't have any. No, dig deeper and see the truth is actually a lot more complex and a lot more involved than you've been led to believe.
And what I would like to add to that is that please don't criticize me for doing the legally prudent thing. If you criticize anyone, criticize the Department of Justice and Special Counsel Mueller, who has received a detailed letter from us. We haven't even gotten any reply. how can the person who has been mandated with investigating the very issue that I'm talking about, that I'm offering to provide evidence for, how is that very person not interested in hearing from me? That is a question you should ask yourself, and that is someone you should criticize for not doing their job. Because the truth, in my mind, why they are not coming back to me is inconvenient. It does not marry with the narrative of Russian hacking. It does not work to call Trump a colluder with Russia in the last election. If the investigation body in the United States would actually look at this evidence, this investigation would be over in no time. So Mr. Mueller is showing what his interest really is. I suspect he's a deep state actor, and the deep state has not expected Trump to win. They have actually moved their entire power, their media influence, their media ops against Trump, and Trump has won against the wishes of the elite establishment system in the United States. And they're trying to get rid of him. And this investigation has not done what it's mandated to do.
Just on the Russian hacking front too, I think we should acknowledge that Edward Snowden has said that he believes that there probably was some Russian meddling in the US election, on the basis that this is what all of these spy agencies do to everyone. And if we look at what the WikiLeaks documents that were released a few months ago that showed the CIA's dispatch orders to the New Zealand government spies to dispatch them to the French election, to meddle in the French presidential election, we do see that, in fact, our own countries have been involved in election meddling as par for the course and even been dispatched by a foreign power to do so. However, the technical evidence has been supplied to prove that the DNC leaks were, in fact, the files were obtained locally. They were not as a result of an external hack. So Kim is entirely correct that this issue of Russian hacking has been politicized by the same people who are involved in the most serious and wide-reaching political espionage and hacking operations, and with the greatest facilities and budgets to do so of anyone in the world. So you will hear Russia, 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 hacking, hacking, hacking. You don't hear US sending New Zealand to meddle in the French election. So you really got to just take a step back and ask yourself, is this really about Russia, or is it about serving the political interests of the intelligence agencies of the United States, which unfortunately a lot of the problems that we face in this world track directly back to if you do the research and if you find the truth.
And one more important thing about that, we know from a WikiLeaks release of Vault 7 that the CIA has tools to basically create a fingerprint of any party in any hacking incident. So if the CIA goes out and hacks someone, they have the tool set to make it look like it was Russia, to make it look like it was China, to make it look like it was anybody but the CIA. So when you have these intelligence agencies issuing reports about, we believe with almost certainty that it was Russia, and then not honestly disclosing that they have the very technology to make anyone look like the perpetrator, that is the epitome of dishonesty, and it just shows that these agencies cannot be trusted. They point the finger at someone without disclosing that they have the technology to make anyone look like the perpetrator.